Hey everybody, it's Josh at Walnut Ridge. This week I'm going to talk about something that's usually a pretty hot topic for this time of year. We get a lot of phone calls from customers who believe there might be an issue with their air conditioner because they're just not keeping the unit cool enough. And that's very common this time of year, especially when you have temperatures in the 90s. You have extreme sunlight all day long. Of course, obviously, check where you're at weather-wise, but here in Indiana we've had quite a bit of hot days in a row, and so naturally our phone calls for service for air conditioners increases with that temperature as well. So I wanted to just talk about a few things you can do, because most of the time what we find out is there's not really an issue with the air conditioner. It's just all the little things that we need to do in the unit to help it keep up. So you have to keep in mind inside your coach, you have a lot of window space. This one especially that we're in. I think we're in Montana right now, and there is a lot of window space in this slide out. And so if the sun is over here for the first half of the day shining directly in, it's really going to heat this area up. So obviously one of the first things that we would want to do would be close the blinds so that we can make sure we keep the sun out as much as possible. And then you have to keep in mind too, in a slide out, the ceiling in the roof line on this, there's not a very large gap there, so there's not a lot of room for a higher R value insulation, so you don't get quite the insulation that you'll get on your just a regular roof, and actually you'll get a little bit better in your sidewalls than what you do in the ceiling on these. So this is going to be a source for heat to come in too. So a good thing with that would be if you don't have slide toppers, you could put slide toppers on. You'll create some shade over the top of that roof that's going to actually drastically cool the surface of the roof, and therefore what kind of heat is radiating inside. So side toppers are good. Keep your blinds down. You're going to want to start your air conditioner early in the morning, so that way it's not working super hard all day long trying to catch up. It's really hard for it as the day goes on and the temperature comes up. It's hard for that air conditioner to keep up if it doesn't have a head start on it. When you run the air conditioner, you're only going to get about an 18 to 20 degree temperature difference in the return air that's going in and then the air that's coming out your vents. And so if it's 90 outside and we haven't really started the air conditioner until it's already 80 something in the coach, well, you're only going to get 60 or 70 degree air coming out, which is not going to feel real cold. So it's going to take time. And as the temperature inside the coach starts to decrease, where we get it down to 80 degrees in here, now we have 60 degree air. We get it to 75 degrees in here, and now we have 55 degree air. So you're going to feel that difference coming down, and then once we get there, a little easier for it to maintain. Another thing you need to make sure you're doing, especially on hot and sunny days, run that air conditioner on high fan. Do not run it on low. If you run it on low, there's not enough air movement going across the fins for the on top when your coil's running, or when your compressor's running and running all that freon through your fins. There's not enough airflow to go through there, so that stuff actually gets cold enough that it'll ice up and freeze over. So then inside the air conditioner you have a solid block of ice, and then the air can't move through, so then it's not pushing it through the vents, and the air will feel warm even though you have a solid block of ice up there. So the air conditioner will, at that point, you'll have to turn it just to fan only and thaw it out. So you need to run it on high all day long when it's hot out. The best thing to do would be at nighttime, actually set it colder than what you want it to be, so that way you kind of have a head start in the morning to keep up through the day. If it's not too windy, make sure you have your awnings out. That extra shade that they provide over these windows especially, and on the sidewalls of the camper, is going to help drastically. And when you're on the outside of these, when the sun's shining directly on them, if you have one of the tan or kind of darker colored units, the exterior surface of these can be 115, 120 degrees where the sunlight's directly on them, so that's going to translate to a lot more heat radiating inside. If you have ceiling fans inside, make sure you're running the ceiling fans. They make some pillows, vent pillows, that you can stuff up in the vents, because that's just a thin plastic lid on top of that, so there's really no R value at all to keep that heat out. And nowadays we're seeing a lot more residential refrigerators in this, so now we don't have to have a vent on the outside to to vent that heat out of the unit and away from the refrigerator. So now that heat's just going to radiate up and come out here. So you have an extra source of heat coming in. If you're cooking in the morning, you need to make sure you have your air conditioner on early, because you are going to produce a lot of heat with your stove and your oven running, and your microwave. Everything that's these appliances, they're generating heat when you run them. So you got to keep that in mind. That, you know, try not to get in your fridge as much as possible, so it doesn't have to kick on as often, and that way it'll maintain its temperature and not produce that extra heat. So just tons of little things that will help. Make sure your door is not being open and closed, several times in a day. If you need to go out, then go out and close the door. Make sure you get it. Make sure you get it sealed back up. So just all those little things is the main things that you need to do to help your air conditioner keep up. Sometimes you might find that one air conditioner just isn't enough on a coach. So there's, check your coach. If it's pre-wired or has the ability to add a second air conditioner, it's a good idea to put it on there too. That way at nighttime you can run the air conditioner in the bedroom, not have to run this back one, keep it cool, and in the morning you can switch it over, and you already have a head start to get your day going in the campground that you're at. So just some tips. Hopefully this will help you with your air conditioner and keeping everything cool in these hot summer days. And oh, one more thing before we go. I almost forgot. This is probably the most important thing. The filters in your air conditioner need to be cleaned. Clean them regularly, because if they get dirty, you have less airflow, and an air conditioner has to work harder to keep up. So very important. Make sure you clean your filters. But anyway, just some tips to help you with air conditioning. I hope it helps you guys stay cool out there. Thanks.